Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you all had a wonderful New Year's Eve. I've got a bunch coming up. The top 10 videos of 2019. The top 5 trips I took. Sorry, top 10 videos 2018. Ooh, I'm really looking ahead. The top 5 trips I took last year. A look at what is coming up in 2019, including a preview of my upcoming trips. Who I want to collab with, hopefully, in this next year. And a whole lot more. We've got a lot coming up for you. There we go. So hopefully all the technology will work today. I am trying a couple new things, so I'm really optimistic it will work. If you saw the most recent video, you'll notice I have a different microphone on. This is not my new microphone. This is an older one. But I actually do have a couple of new gadgets that will hopefully help it work a little bit better. You'll see the new one. You might see it actually in my upcoming videos that I record on my regular set. I'm using it over there and it sounds wonderful. So excited about that. It is good to see so many people here. Live from the Rose Parade. I actually did that a few years ago, Michael. It was a blast. We've actually got it on DVR, so we'll watch it a little bit later. Rose Parade is a tradition for us. I hope everybody had a great New Year's Eve. Really excited about what is coming up. I've got all sorts of stuff I want to try and cover and see how short a time I can do it because I don't want to draw it out too much. And hopefully I don't do that too much and bump the microphone. A couple quick announcements I want to make. One, I know some of you have seen it. I'm going to get a little selfish here and sort of self-promoting. My son runs another YouTube channel, and he actually just finally got it monetized again a little bit ago. I highlighted one of his videos on the YouTube commentary section on my channel, but I encourage you to check it out. He has kind of this eclectic, weird, wild mix of stuff. He did this hysterical takeoff of TikTok, but go check it out. It's fun, and you'll enjoy it. Want to promote my Patreon, my patrons, again, on Patreon. Just a reminder, if you have signed up on Patreon as a $1 a month supporter or more before January 15th, I will mail you a postcard from Magic Kingdom while I'm on the trip in February. I do need to have your mailing address. I've got a number of patrons that haven't sent that to me yet, but I will definitely do that for all my patrons. I do have a goal for this next year for the channel. I am about 1,800 subscribers short right now of hitting the 30,000 subscriber mark. I would love to hit that. So towards the end of the video, I'm going to give you some challenges on how to reach that. You can tell I'm getting used to the microphone being here, and so hopefully I won't thump it too much for you. So, but a whole bunch of stuff. 2018 was a great year for me. I had a blast. And so I want to kind of share the top most viewed videos. These also happen to be the top 10 that were the most liked, the most commented on. And so depending upon which list you look at, there'll be slightly different order, but it'll be fun to look back at some of that. Seeing everybody else come on. Hi, Rachel. Hi, Joseph. Hi, Craig. Hi, Tinkering Disney and Quizzle. So great to see everybody. So let's start off, and I'm going to kind of the top 10 countdown is going to take a little time. So let's hit number 1, and I'm hoping this all works right. Yeah, technology test. So this was the number 10 video.
To find out that they're not the only ones who thought of it, and there's all these people everywhere and no room to walk and long lines for everything, and then they get mad at Disney. And I had people that would yell at me in the stores and when I was shooting photos.
Why are all these people here? This shouldn't have been like this. It should have been empty. What's wrong with you? How could you let so many people in?
Well, they all thought of the same thing you did. Terrible time to go visit the parks.
And for those who haven't been hearing the news, they actually closed Magic Kingdom yesterday for hitting capacity. I mean, completely closed it. So busy time. We had a blast Christmas Eve, but yeah, I have no desire to ever do that again. But that was the 10th most watched video of last year. People really seem to enjoy that one. So, hey, and I've got a couple others on here. I've got a couple Park Tale episodes. I've got a couple controversial ones that people enjoyed. And so that was a lot of fun. You're in school, Michael, on New Year's Day? Ooh, boy, that's kind of weird. Yeah, I was going to say, but it was kind of fun looking back at this list and seeing the ones that people really enjoyed and the ones that got the most views. A couple of them I wasn't surprised at, but there were definitely a couple on the list that did surprise me a little bit. In fact, as I'm getting my stuff queued up here, my number 9 video was actually one that was near the beginning of the year. It was about a big hyped event, and so I got called out to Media Day and was able to be with my kids on a special day and check something out, and I was actually very impressed with how well this video did. And that would be my number 9. Number 9, why I won't work for Disney again.
As time's gone on, I've begun to realize I will probably never work at a theme park again. And I can just about guarantee I'll never work for Disney again, even though I might want to. One of the things I have with Florida is because it's basically a giant swamp, there's a lot of bugs and viruses and illnesses that float around in Florida that aren't in other places. I was sick all the time in that state.
Okay, so I'm reading my list in a wrong order. So yes, number 9 was why I won't work for Disney again. I get asked a lot, well, are you going to work? Are you going to go back? Aren't you going to do it? And yes, the answer is no. And I did a whole video on that, and people were really interested. So if you're wondering, will I ever work for Disney? That's the video to go look for. And if you're watching the archive, I will actually have links to all of these videos when the post live chat edition comes up. So you'll be able to click on the link in the description for all of these. So Elton John or Billy Joel, depends upon the mood I'm in, Aaron. But I was surprised at how many people really wanted to know why I won't work at Disney again. It's not because I wouldn't want to. I would absolutely love to. It's just health and living in Florida again. I've got no desire to live in Florida. I miss the people, but that state, nobody wants to live in a swamp. But if you're living in Florida, you are. The number 8 video is actually one that I've talked about a couple of times, but I did an updated version of this video, and I actually ended up having to re-upload it because I had some not so good pictures in it, and so I fixed some of the pictures. And between the two, it probably would have actually been like the number 3 video for the year. But people were really interested. They love seeing my collection, and they love talking about pins. And so the number 7 video actually came right out of that. And that was this one. That's right. Number 8, Disney pins trading and how to spot fakes.
You're ready to trade. They're real pins. You're ready to go. You know what to look for out in the parks now so you don't get stuck with a fake one. How do you make sure you keep them safe? I keep cast member pins from holidays and things that only cast members can buy, kind of as a marker that you worked on that day.
People love Disney pins. So, Julia asks, I wish I got to see the behind-the-scenes live stream. Do I think I will do another? I honestly do not know, Julia. I didn't share anything necessarily that isn't, well, I don't want to say common knowledge, but anything that hasn't been talked about before. There's no trade secrets or anything Disney's going to get real upset about. But at the same time, it's also a video of things that Disney doesn't necessarily want people talking about all the time. So I really don't know. We'll see. Who knows? I know one of the things I've talked about in the past is potentially writing a book. If I ever do actually get a book written, and that's just a matter of making time to do it, then some of those stories will definitely be in the book. But otherwise, I don't know. So that's my the lower 3 of the top 10 videos so far. And we've got 7 more to go. Hopefully I can count properly. You can tell it was a late night last night. We didn't do anything really weird. We just stayed up. We watched the ball drop. We had a couple glasses of sparkling grape juice. And yes, it was just grape juice. And then went to bed. But yeah, I'm still trying to recover a little bit. Do I have any updates about the condition of the flooded mine? It is still flooded, Aaron. Those poor prisoners have not gotten the water out yet. No, I don't know offhand. So, let's continue our countdown here. This is going to be video number 7. And this was a video that was sort of kind of my typical one, but that people really, really enjoyed. And I had a lot of fun making this one. And that would be number 7, good guess versus bad guess, and how to be a good one.
You don't want to end up like in National Lampoon's Vacation, where you drive up to the park and you see the big moose out in front going, "Sorry, folks, park's closed." Not an experience you want. Hello? Or over at Silver Dollar City when they wanted to know when they moved the cave. You're not exactly moving a cave.
And yes, every single question and comment in that video I've gotten was a real legitimate one. I have people that will occasionally comment on the videos and say, "You're just making that up." I wish I was. But fun video talking about what a good guess is, what a bad guess is, and how to avoid asking some of those dumb questions here. So I'm going to pause in the countdown just a little bit, and I want to talk a little bit about what's coming up next year as well. A couple have actually been asking me about upcoming trips. Well, let me show you one thing I got in the mail a couple days ago. There you go. That is Disney's Magical Express. This is actually going to be the upcoming trip we've got in February. Hey, Michael, slow it down just a little bit, okay? Let other people chat there. But we are actually we're leaving February 19th. We will be down there till the 26th. We have a big meet and greet. I'm hoping it'll be big at least. On February 23rd at Disney Springs. Schedule is 11 o'clock. If you want to know more details about it, make sure you head over to the Facebook SirWillow fan page. I've got it posted as an event there. You can check it out. And hey, while you were there, also join the SirWillow fans group page. That is one where everybody is able to post and add, contribute, share your pictures and all sorts of stuff. It is a great community and we're growing. Love to see that one grow even more. So if you want more details about the meet and greet in February, it's there. We actually do have our whole schedule set already. On the 20th, which is their first day there, we'll be at Magic Kingdom. My daughter and I are taking the Keys to the Kingdom tour, so she gets to see the Utilidors. I doubt I will be able to get pictures. They normally don't allow it. But we'll be doing that. We've got all our Fast Passes booked. I'm so excited about the Fast Passes because we got everything we wanted. We will be at Universal Studios on Thursday the 21st. Which is going to be exciting to head back there. And if you remember the couple people I went with Universal back in January of this past year, they will be with us again. So we're going to have a great time with that. And then, of course, there's a day for Epcot and a day for Hollywood Studios and a day for Animal Kingdom. And then we'll be at Disney Springs for the meet and greet that day. And I'm hoping we're working on getting a big get-together with all sorts of PhotoPass photographers, both past and maybe a few from present as well. And if that comes together like I'm hoping it will, we will actually be sitting down and we will be sharing and swapping stories from when we worked. So it won't be just me, it'll be all these others. And I'm really hoping to be able to get all of this on video for you, because it will be the neatest video and the neatest stories. And so that is the plan, is to be able to get a big video production done there. We've got a couple other trips coming up as well. We are planning to be out in Kentucky at the end of May. So we're going to be heading out to the Ark Experience, the Creation Museum, hopefully stop at the St. Louis Zoo. And so that'll be the end of May. We're doing that. We will be back at Disney World, and hopefully, if we can work things out, maybe even SeaWorld and Busch Gardens at the end of July, the first part of August. Our church has a big, huge convention and business meeting down there, and we've already got our place booked. So we're excited about that coming up. So end of July again, Disney World. And then I just got this other thing in the mail yesterday. Now, you may remember we went in October to Walt Disney World, thanks so much to a friend of ours who's actually one of my patrons who covered that whole trip. Well, we just got this, and I have kind of played around and hinted at this a little bit, but I do want to confirm it. Let's see. Oh, Andy, congratulations. That's awesome for you. Some of you have been asking, when is this going to happen? Yes, folks, that is Disneyland tickets. We have the hotel room already paid for. We have the tickets in hand. It is going to be 2 of us right now. It won't be my wife because she won't be able to take off of school. Right now, tentative plans for me and my daughter. Don't know about my son yet. Don't know about others, but we will be there the first week in October back at Disneyland and California Adventure. And I am so excited because the last time we were there was 2004. So my daughter was 8. I believe she was 8 years old at the time. So it's been a long time coming. So we are really excited about that. So Disney World, Disneyland are both coming up this year, and so much more. Do I ever have plans to go visit the Middle East again? I will actually talk about that in a little bit, Aaron. You'll have to wait and see. Sorry. Oh, again, though, thinking future, I don't know. The one thing about the Middle East trip and all the trips that we did this last year were actually trips that other people paid for because our budget doesn't allow it. I'd love to go back to Israel again. I don't know when we'll be able to afford it, but who knows? Where am I staying in Disneyland? Well, I'm not staying in Disneyland. I'm staying at a hotel nearby. I believe it is the Camelot, if I got it right, and I don't remember exactly for sure, but it's right across the street, so we'll be able to walk in and out. So, anyways, let's hop back to the countdown. I still have more things I'm going to be talking about here, too. I think that's all the trips coming up, but I'll talk about the other episodes and my top 5 trips coming up after we work back to the top 10 videos here. So we had finished up with number 7. We're on number 6, and number 6 was actually one of the most controversial videos I did last year. I was surprised at how much discussion and actually in some ways how many people strongly disagreed with me, which is perfectly fine. That didn't bother me, but it was kind of interesting, some of the comments and responses, because I think some people who watched missed what I was saying in this video, but it still made for a lot of fun. And that would be number 6. I've decided I don't like FastPass at Walt Disney World. Now, I don't have a video preview of this one because of the way I streamed it at the time, but it made for some very fun discussion. And I think a lot of people understood what I was saying, and I think there were a few people who didn't, and there were some that all they figured was FastPass allowed them to save time in lines without seeing the bigger picture. But it made it for a lot of fun and an interesting video. It's one that actually made me think if people would like me to do those kinds of discussions more often. And if so, I would love to hear your feedback and comments and suggestions on what else do you want me to talk about that may be good or bad at Disney. So, number 5 was actually going way back to my past. So for all you Texans, this was actually the 5th most watched video I did last year. And, you know, it's not one I normally would do, but it was actually from a trip I took way back in 2010, 12? Can't remember exactly, but Six Flags Astroworld, scary guests and operators.
And while we're waiting in that crowd for opening, you got to meet a couple interesting characters, such as this guy. Beads at a park? Okay, it's not New Orleans. He unlocks the brakes, and then he and one of the ride-ups actually climb on top of the track behind the train and begin to push. Oh my goodness.
And for those of you who may not understand, you don't do that. We saw some safety things at Six Flags Astroworld that honestly scared the stuffing out of me because it was a bad accident waiting to happen. So, Disneyland, somebody just asked, we're coming to California the first week in October. The Saturday we will be there, which is that first Saturday in October. We're planning a meet and greet, probably at Downtown Disney, but we will kind of wait and see how everything else works out. But first week, Tim, I loved Astroworld. Astroworld was a neat park. They had some really weird things like the safety issues, but there was so much there that was neat. It was really sad to see what Six Flags did, and the whole thing is still sitting there empty and barren, and that's just sad. It's really sad. But we loved. I wish it was still around. I really enjoyed my trip there, and I was happy I got to go before it closed. Number 4 was another one that really hit home for me. I knew I had ties to some of the people that were involved, and there are people that are still struggling and dealing with this. And yes, I did kind of briefly flash it, and that was the Tragedy Strikes Branson's Ride the Ducks. This was another one I kind of did a live stream. We had 17 people killed with it. There are still lawsuits flying around and people struggling with the aftermath, and we're still kind of waiting to see how it all plays out. The one thing I think it's going to be interesting, I don't think the Ducks are ever going to open in Branson again. They're still sitting there empty, and I don't see much hope for them getting open. I still got my Quackers, and I'll probably keep those, but a sad loss in so many ways to see the jobs gone and everything else. So, But yeah, that was a hard video. That was one, I will be entirely honest with you. You may not have seen it on the video, but as soon as I was done recording it, I broke down and cried. Hard video to shoot. So, let's see here. Imagination Travels. Oh, that would be a neat way to go to Disney World, but don't lose all your money to go to Disney. Save up the pennies. Let's see. Oh, Michael Tarango. Before you started working at Disneyland, family stayed at Candy Cane Inn. If you actually look back and go to my best trip ever to Disneyland, Candy Cane Inn was actually the place that we stayed. Loved the hotel. It's right on the corner. Very nice hotel, and it is so popular that if you're not booking it a year ahead of time, you're not getting into it. Great place to stay. Do I plan on going to Aulani, Hawaii Disney Resort? Michael, are you planning on paying for me to go? This is the simple answer to almost all of the "am I going to" questions. Are you paying for the trip? If the answer is no, then I am probably not going. These couple of trips that I am going on, the July trip to Disney World is a big business trip, and so we are able to use some of that to cover some of the expenses. We've got some family that are joining us to cover other expenses. So we're doing a lot of finagling to make the July trip work. February, we actually covered some of those costs back in October, using that to pay for our trip tickets, and I've got flight miles that are paying for that. So that whole trip is going to run us probably about $1,200 for two of us, just using flight miles to pay for plane tickets and getting bargain fares and having annual passes. And so we're looking at hotel and food. So we're going pretty cheap on that. Pretty much any other trip, we've been blessed to have other people cover. So easy way to answer that. So, are you going to? Probably not unless somebody else covers it. Just because... I'm a pastor on the side. I don't make that much money off the YouTube. I make a few $100s a month. My wife is a high school teacher. They don't make a lot of money. And then, so there's not a big, huge source of income in any of that. Because as a pastor at the church I'm at, I don't get paid. They cover our rent, and that's about it. So, we live comfortably, but it's not something where we have extra. So we've really been blessed the last couple of years to do the traveling we have. And trust me, it has been a blessing. Finishing up the countdown here, the top 10. This was one that was actually kind of fun to make. People asked, and as I did this video, I realized that people really don't have a clue. I still get comments here by people saying, "You can't do that? Really? I don't get it." And that would be number 3. 7 not-so-common-sense rules at theme parks.
I just completely fail to understand why people think it is okay to hop a fence in a theme park. If it was okay to go where that fence is keeping you from, they wouldn't have the fence there. And the rapid ride was going past us, and I saw this kid stand up, and I yelled, even though I was just visiting the park as a guest. "Sit down!" Scared the snot out of the kids.
Scared it out of my kids too, who were standing there. It's I don't know. Even on this last trip to Walt Disney World we went on, we actually saw somebody hop a fence, and it was like, "Hello, what are you doing? Why?" I just don't understand some people. True CR Racial, I'm so happy that you joined the channel. Thank you so much for watching. It's always fun when I hear other people like the channel. Let's see, so I got 2 more of my top 10 videos, and then I'm going to talk about kind of a couple channel goals for this year and how you can help me with it. Andy the Fox Bunny, you never know. I'm always surprised at some of the people I meet, and you never know where I might be. Kimmy, just I was talking about Astroworld. Yeah, I wish there was something there. Gordon, actually, what I'm surprised at, some people are like sheep and see one person do it and others do it. Actually, what I'm surprised at is how many people do things that they see nobody else doing, but they think for some reason that it's okay for them. Really? If nobody else is doing it, why are you doing it? So, yeah, it's not always the sheep. Sometimes I wish more people were sheep. I know, that sounds weird. That's not really what I mean, but I hope you get the sympathy, the idea. Okay, so the number 2 was actually what I mentioned earlier. It was an opportunity to head out to Silver Dollar City for a very special day before the park was open. We got invited out for Media Day, and we got to ride this incredible coaster. And that would be number 2. Time Traveler opens, full coverage.
And it starts with that first drop. Here goes Amber and I.
We are spinning! We are spinning! Straight down!
And I'm actually on the backside of that guy talking.
Well, here's a look at that drop from down on the ground. It's a doozy.
I'll do it.
And this was wonderful. They gave me a GoPro to wear on the ride.
Because here we
Don't
go.
do this without permission, folks.
A little bit of a rotation.
We had a great time being out there at Silver Dollar City for that. Just a lot of fun. And Craig, now you can say you've been on Time Traveler. Those of you who don't know, Craig doesn't do a whole lot of roller coaster riding. So, Maggie, what am I most looking forward to when I go to DCA? Probably Cars Land, because that's all new. Didn't even exist, nothing remotely there. So that's probably what I'm looking forward to the most there. Then my top most watched video. And somebody has actually, a couple of people already kind of hinted at this. And this is one of those things that I guess kind of my channel has become known for. It's becoming a harder video to make because I've actually told most of these stories. So I kind of looked back and decided to have a little bit of fun with it and said, let's look at the top 12 silly guest questions.
Where is Harry Potter World? Harry Potter World? First off, it's the wrong name. It's Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Second, that's over at Universal, which is not Disney. It's several miles down the road in Orlando. Where are the rides? Yeah, I would actually get asked that a lot when I was working at Disney. How do I get to Disney World? This is another question I heard at Epcot or Hollywood Studios a bunch, or variations of it like, well, when I go to Disney World tomorrow.
And that's all of those. And yes, it does want to start the video again so you can see the last one. If you want to see the rest of the silly questions, you got to go back and watch the video again and look for the other silly guest questions. I love making those videos. The hardest part for me at this point is the fact that I think I've actually used up almost all the silly guest questions and comments I've heard. Although every time I visit a park, I tend to hear another one I can add onto the list. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to in February, getting together with all the other photographers, is being able to kind of glean from a lot of them some of the questions they've had. And in fact, it actually makes me want to look ahead a little bit here. So here's some of the things that are kind of on my list of possibilities for the upcoming year. And I've got a pretty long list. Actually, here's been what's neat. I took a couple days off this last week with the holidays and just did nothing. Not even looking at the channel, and refreshed a bit, and allowed me to kind of renew. And I went from about 3 pages of ideas, I'm back up to about 6 or 7. And some of the things that are on my list is looking at park tales of SeaWorld and Magic Mountain, how to shoot like a PhotoPass photographer and make your own pictures look like PhotoPass, positive guest experiences, how Disney does food allergies. And I'm actually reading off a little list here. I need to revisit the Brazilian tour groups. Really need to do a retouch of that because a lot has changed since I've done that. Looking back at the Year of a Million Dreams at Disney. Attractions that I wish I had ridden or experienced. Secrets at Epcot. I've got one that I actually have the whole script almost written out for 8 things I learned while working at Disney World. Some are neat, some are unusual, some are just weird. So I've got several different things like that. One I realized I have never done. What is PhotoPass and how do you do it and is it worth it? I've been doing videos for almost 3 years as a PhotoPass photographer, and I've never talked about what PhotoPass actually is and how you do it. Oh my goodness. You know, silly things like that. And then I'm going to do one of my favorite other YouTubers, in particular Disney ones, but also other people I like. So let's see. When I get to DCA, may or may not be working. Michael, if we're out there the day that you're there, yes, absolutely. Love to have you join us for a little bit. So, yes, where's the bathroom when they're standing near them, Kim? Yep, you get that a whole lot too. Let's see. How long will I be staying here in California? I will be in California for 1 week. We have not bought the plane tickets as of yet, but the hotel reservation right now is a Tuesday through Monday. So it'll be that very first week in October. Have I done any videos on people gifting presents to cast members? Actually, Master, one of my old videos, it's actually called It's Better Than a Tip. And it does talk about people giving gifts and presents to cast members. It might be one for me to revisit at some point because I did that in my first few months. So the quality is not anywhere near my current quality. In fact, you could even see with the top 10, the different quality in some of the videos depending upon when I shot it and what equipment I use. So it's something to go back and look at some point. But yes, I do have a video. Let's see. Oh, Shivering Timbers, not Savoring Timbers, any of the Fox Money. That's a Michigan adventure. Yes, I am familiar with Shivering Timbers. Heard good things about it. So here's a couple things. I'm going to talk about my top 5 trips I took in just a minute. But here's a couple things that I like to ask all of you to help me with. If you look at my subscriber count right now, it is 28,400 and something. So I am about this far away from 30,000. I would love to blow off that 30,000 cap pretty quick. I'd love to do it before the February Disney trip. So here's what I'm going to ask, because I know the people who come to the live feeds are going to be generally my biggest fans, the biggest viewers, the ones who are here for everything. So here's what I'm going to ask everybody to do. When you watch the videos, you'll see that there's that little thumbs up, thumbs down. Definitely please hit that. Even if you don't like the video, hit the thumbs down. It shows what's called an engagement, people reacting. Leave comments. But also you will notice at the bottom there's a little button that says share. And this is a big thing that you can do, especially those who say, oh, I wish I could give you money and I can't afford it. That's fine. I'm not expecting anybody to pay me. But if you hit that share button and share it on Facebook, on Twitter, on Tumblr, on Reddit, and if you post on forums to talk about Disney at all, if you share the videos, that gets the word out. It's advertising. People see that, click on it, watch, and then they subscribe and join. That is the biggest and best way to grow the channel and get new subscribers, is when you hit that share button. It is huge for me. And I am so grateful when people do that, because that's how it grows. It's kind of funny because I read different forums. I'm actually on several different ones. And I will constantly see threads, who are your top favorite YouTubers? And I pop up occasionally, but you usually see the big ones. And these are people I'd love to do collabs with, by the way. People like Brian Hull and the Trackers and the Hayes family. All awesome people, by the way. And Rob Plays and Disney Dan and TPM Vids. And then I'm kind of going, somebody mention me. And I don't really want to promote my own stuff. A lot of forums frown on it if you're posting your own stuff. But if other people are saying, hey, check out that SirWillow guy, it's huge. I wish that there was a way I could track who was sharing and stuff so I could give out prizes and awards. I would love to. I'm actually working on a way for my next live stream. And I don't know if I can do this yet, but I'm working on a way to be able to give a random prize to somebody who posts in the chat on my next live stream. Fingers crossed. I've got a couple things I'm looking at that might be able to do it. So that is a possibility. But please share on those forums. Mention me. Help spread the word around. Almost everybody I just mentioned, I'd love to do a collab with. They're all well over 100,000 subscribers. I can get there. So, and then feed me your ideas too. I'd love to hear your ideas. What do you want to see? I know people love the silly guest videos. What else would you like to see me talk about and maybe address? And is there something I haven't talked about, or is there an old topic you want me to redo again? So everything you like goes on Twitter. Awesome. Here's a big suggestion too. If you're on Twitter, please hashtag SirWillow. I know there's not a lot of them on there, but if we can start hashtagging SirWillow, it will help spread the word as well. And that's also wonderful for me. Am I looking forward to Galaxy's Edge? Yes, Gordon, absolutely. In fact, because we will be there in October, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge will have opened up in July, so it will have had its huge influx of people. It's still going to be new, it's still going to be crowded, but we should be late enough and a slow enough part that we should be able to get in and see all of Galaxy's Edge. I am very excited about that. So, very excited. That's the part of Disneyland I'm looking forward to the most. Plus, I'm just looking forward to being there again. That's the Disney I grew up. Skipper Megan, I don't know. Fresh Baked is actually on my list of people I watch fairly often. Disney Food Blog, I actually watch a bunch too. Bonnie, yes, mention the YouTube channel to friends face to face. That's also awesome. In fact, I was at the mall here yesterday, and we were waiting for my daughter to get off work, and we poked into a shop, and we found this hilarious book that I decided to buy for my daughter. So as I'm paying, I actually pulled out my Disney credit card. Yes, I have a Disney credit card, and handed to her, and she's going, "That is the most awesome card." Going, "Oh, well, I actually, and then she proceeds to tell me that she's actually leaving in a week and a half to go down to Disney to work college program. Really? Cool. I used to do that. I wasn't college program, and we ended up this whole neat conversation. I ended up giving her one of my business cards and writing the channel name on the back of it so she could watch videos. So you never know who you're going to run into. There's a lot of Disney fans out there. Let's see. Trying to read the comments here. Feel bad living far away in Europe. Now, Masterman, you have Disney Paris, which is not very far away, and it is an awesome, awesome park. It is great. Preparing gifts for cast members, even assistants. The biggest thing with your gifts, if you're coming from Europe, do something small. Something from Europe is great. Little thank you notes are awesome. Don't do anything that's worth a lot of money because they're not technically supposed to take anything valuable. But just small little trinkets are awesome for them. I got chocolate bars. I got pictures that people had drawn. I got little thank you notes. Those were wonderful. And I ate the chocolate bars, but everything else I kept. So, how to prepare for leaving on a theme park trip, especially when I have pets. I've never done a trip with pets, Tammy, so that's a little harder for me to say. But if you've got some good ideas for videos, you can post it in chat, but I'm liable to forget it. Go to the YouTube or to the Facebook page, especially if you can get into the SirWillow fan page, the groups, but also on the fan page. Post the ideas there or send me a message on Facebook. That's an easy way for me to remember them and then get them on the list. So, and yes, if you're out there, I don't know exactly which parks we will be at on what days. And with Disneyland, it's easy to go back and forth, unlike Walt Disney World. So we'll kind of get that nailed down as the dates get closer, but we're 10 months away. So, but yes, if you're out in the area at Disneyland in the first week of October, I would love to meet all of you there. Let's see. Are there many differences between Disneyland Paris and Walt Disney World? Yes, absolutely. Walt Disney World is 4 parks. Disneyland Paris is 2. So you can just start there. 2 water parks at Walt Disney World, none at Disneyland Paris. Different rides and attractions. Disneyland Paris, of course, is French, so you have a lot of the French culture that is there. There are several rides that are unique to Disneyland Paris. The Big Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disneyland Paris is unique to it. Space Mountain is different. Their version of the Haunted Mansion, which I didn't get to experience, but it is very different than anything in Florida. The castle is awesome in Paris. There's a lot of differences. This may be bad, but I actually like Disneyland Paris better than Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World. It was such a neat park. So, let's see. Let's see. If I could choose between a trip to Japan or France for a Disney trip, I would go to Japan right now because I've already been to France. And I have not been to Japan ever, and I love Japan. So, thank you, Jolie, for sharing. Thank you for those who are sharing right now, too. I appreciate it. I did want to talk about my top 5 trips I took this last year, because I had some incredible trips, and I don't have any pictures or a little fancy countdown. I didn't get time for that. But many of you know I ended up with a lot of really neat trips. Let's see here, get my little list scrolled up here so I can read it. What I would call my number 5 trip was actually my return to Walt Disney World last January, which I wasn't expecting, and everybody kind of chipped in on GoFundMe and helped pay for this trip, and it was so neat to be able to go back last January. Spent 5 days at the parks, including a day at Universal, had the first big meet and greet, and it was an awesome trip that I was so humbled to be able to take, and so neat to see so many people come out to the meet and greet. We had like 30 people, I think, come out for it. It's got me really excited about this trip coming up in February because I've got a Saturday that's free for the meet and greet. So I'm really hoping we get a good turnout again. But that was great. Let's see. Is Captain Phasma meetable? I have no idea if she will be meetable Apollo or not. She is not a meetable character at the other parks. She just leads the March of the First Order. I have not seen her do meet and greets, so I wouldn't count on that one. So, Michelle, thank you so much. Oh, that's so neat that your husband shared the page. How much is knowing French important for Disneyland Paris? I knew 10 phrases that I learned. If you actually go back and watch my videos, you'll see that I really don't know French, and it was not a problem at all. The biggest number of people that come to Disneyland Paris is from the United Kingdom, so they've got English everywhere. So you're not going to need to know French, but if you know a few little phrases, it does come in very handy, and it builds a bridge. They're going to love you if you speak a little bit of French, or at least try. But you don't need it by any means. Do I know why the water toboggan is still there? Water toboggan is, you must mean the tower, Aaron. It's just, water toboggan used to be a water flume ride that was at Silver Dollar City. And they took the ride out a long time ago, but they left the tower. And it's really because the tower is right smack in the middle of the park, and it's a pain in the neck to remove. It would cost more money to remove it than it's worth. So, no reason to remove it. Okay, let's see here. All sorts of, let's see. Oh, Hong Kong Disneyland. Now, Apollo, Hong Kong does things different. So there are some things that Hong Kong does definitely different. It might surprise Disney was giving away $50 gift cards after Magic Kingdom closed at 11:30. Not a bit. Disney does everything they can to make something right, and if people were hoping to get into Magic Kingdom and then they couldn't get in, they're going to do what they can to try to make it better for them. So that's why they did that, and nope, doesn't surprise me a bit. Okay, so number 5 trip was Walt Disney World in January. Number 4 trip was one that popped up completely unexpected. In August, I got a call and said, hey, in 2 weeks I'm going to Cedar Point and I need somebody to go with me. You want to go? And just a fun, completely unexpected surprise of a trip. I hadn't been to Cedar Point since 2002. And so it was wonderful to get back and experience it and marathon the coasters again. I mean, we did so much that by day 2, I was worn out. I've kind of almost felt bad for the guy that took me because I was kind of going, okay, I just need to sit for a little bit. The age and weight started to kick in. But it was a great, great fun trip. And again, I'm so grateful to the gentleman who brought me along with him. Number 3 would again be Walt Disney World. And this was where we got to stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge. I got to take my kids and my wife back for the first time in 8 years, and it was so neat watching the kids' reactions to everything that they didn't necessarily remember so much. They'd kind of taken it for granted because Dad was working there, and to come back and watch them go, wow, I didn't remember this, and this is cool, and oh, that's... And so that was just a blast. It really was. So that would have been my number 3 trip. My number 2 trip, we've talked about a little bit on here, and that was Disney Paris. This was another one that I was kind of finding out at the end of November might happen, and then it just all kind of fell together. And again, this was another gentleman who I've met several times before, who's a supporter of the channel, who said, hey, we're going to do this trip, and we'd love for you to come along. And of course, my phone's ringing. I have no idea who that is, so not that I would answer the phone while I'm doing a live stream, but you'll have to listen to it ring a little bit. It's not a sensor beep, don't worry. But got to go to Disneyland Paris, which is something I never thought would happen. We got to spend several days at the parks, got to head down into Paris itself and see the Eiffel Tower and cruise on the river, and just an incredible, incredible trip. And so very grateful to Leo for taking me along on that one. It was awesome. It was awesome, and I was humbled and surprised and shocked, and just, I mean, my wife actually was talking the other day. She says, you know, when you went, I wasn't real happy, but man, now I'm happy you win. I wish I could go. And then my number 1 trip, Israel. I have not done very much on the channel about the Israel trip. I had a couple travel vlogs I posted up. I think I had 3. But absolutely loved Israel. It is a life-changing trip, whether you are a believer or not. If you ever get the chance to go to Israel, go. The history that is there, the places you get to see and realize that there have been people living here for thousands of years. You will walk on stones that were laid thousands of years ago. And the other thing that really becomes apparent is that a lot of the stuff that they give you in the news about what's there and who's there, what's happening, it misses a lot of it, and it doesn't give you a full picture. Being there is very different. So that was my top 5 trips. Let me see. I've got another list of stuff here. Boy, I hope that's not making a big thump. Of people I would love to do a collab with, but have I met Darth Vader as a guest? Absolutely. I actually worked with him both as a photographer and met him as a guest. So yes, Darth Vader is awesome. All the Disney YouTubers you follow. SirWillow, TPM Vids is awesome. Skipper Megan. Okay, I've got to look up the Skipper Megan. I don't know her. Brian Hull. It's not Hull, it's Hull, the guy who does all the villages. Kyle Paulo. I don't know him offhand. Ella Enchanted, Kevin Heimbach. Okay, so I got to check them out. Rick Rat, thank you so very much. 2019, I think, is going to be an awesome year. 2018 was generally a good year for us. Had a couple hard spots. But yes, we're looking forward to the blessing. So thank you so much for that. You're starting it off with a blessing. Phrases to know in a language you don't speak. Hello, goodbye. I don't understand you. No parlez-vous français. Or only know a little bit. I would like a glass of water. And where's the toilet? Yes. All those. French too, and I'm totally thinking English here, so forgive me. But there is a French phrase that as soon as you walk into a room, especially if it's a restaurant or something, you say, whether you know the people or not, it's just a common courtesy in France. And so I was very much doing that, and it was amazing, the kind of good service I would get just doing that. Rob Plays is definitely on my list as well. Let's see here. Did you encounter the days when professional cinema shooting was going on? Yes, in fact, Master Man, I actually do have a video where I do talk about that a little bit. Here, let me see if I can look it up for you, because that's probably going to be the easiest thing to do. And actually talk about even when I was in TV, among doing stuff like that. Let's see here. See if I can give you the link while I'm doing this. There it is. It's actually called How Did I Get on TV? And it's going to talk a little bit about several of the filmings that they actually did at Disney as well. So it is in the chat for you there, Master Man. That'll help you find that. That's another slightly older one, but we had some neat opportunities. How hot was the trip to Israel? We went in June, and we were expecting it to be cooking, and we ended up with this beautiful weather. When we went up to Masada, it's oftentimes 100, 110 degrees, and it was 91 on the day we were there. So it was great weather while we were there. So, let's see here. DSNY Newscast, yes, I do look at them as well. So, in fact, here, those have asked, I do actually have a list of people I would love to do collabs with who I think would be possible. I've actually contacted Disney Dan and Rob Plays a couple times, and we just haven't been able to get something to work idea-wise. So if you got an idea that you think could work with them, I'd love to hear it. TPM Vids, I love. Jennifer Oaks, we are talking about getting back together again in February with her. So very optimistic that is going to work out. I would love for the Disneyland trip. I'm going to try and get some feelers sent out. I would love to be able to hook up with Brian Hull and the Hayes family. If you don't know the Hayes family vlog, they've got a little girl named Malia. Just the cutest thing. And she gets the most incredible interactions with the characters. But I would love to be able to hook up with either one of them on that trip. So kind of a list there. The Trackers would also be one I would really like to be able to hook up with. They don't really do very many collabs. I did run into Tim Tracker on one of my trips down there last January. So it would be kind of fun to be able to meet up with them for more than just a, hey, how are you doing? We'll see if it happens or not. But that's kind of my short list of collabs. But hey, if you got other ideas, again, please send me a link on Facebook as well. And who knows, we might be able to get some stuff going. I'd love to do it. Wow, I'm at 49 minutes, and I meant to try and shoot for 35. So, well, in that case, since I am actually running overtime past what I thought I would, I hope all of you had a good time looking kind of back at the last year, looking ahead at the next year. Please don't forget to like, share, hit the share button every chance you get. It would help me out tremendously. 30,000 subs. Be awesome if we could hit it, say, at the end of January. That would be cool. Help me get there. Hope you all have a wonderful and blessed New Year's. Thank you, everybody, for joining in and being on board with me. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you had fun with this. Look back and look ahead as well. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful, blessed 2019.